guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, tarot readings from the heart. So today's reading is for the zodiac sign of Taurus, and Taurus, this is your January 2016 month ahead reading. Now just to let you know quickly what's coming up on the channel, Taurus, we have your we've got your obviously monthly reading which is going to be done now. We've also got your yearly 2016 reading which is coming up for you guys. After that you'll have your life spread reading, okay, but please bear with me because I'm finishing off the last 6 signs now for the monthlies, and then I'm going to be concentrating on the yearly readings for the 11 signs. Scorpio's all done and dusted now, but that was a real tour de force having to get everything done. So yeah, everything is being done in batches, so the yearly readings for the final 11 signs, and then the live spread readings for the final 11 signs that will be coming up for you very, very shortly. So let's also, if you'd like to order a private reading with me, guys, the link is below to my website. It's doing very, very well at the moment. I'm getting some really good feedback. And what I'll say is, if you do order a reading with me and you find that your reading resonates and, you know, you're kind of happy with that reading, please always try and leave a review on the website, client review, because then other people can see. I've got a lot of reviews on there, but obviously it always helps with people who are trying to choose a tarot reader if they can see that people are actually leaving reviews. Okay, so here we go. January 2016, your advice card came up as the 5 of Cups. So I feel here with this advice card, Taurus, that the universe is saying, you know, with the 5 of Cups, this guy has lost something, okay? So I always look at this card and I see that he's focused on 3 cups in front of him there, okay? There are 2 cups behind him, which shows that there is something good that is behind him, but he's not seeing it. So it could be a lesson that he's learned. It could be that there's a new union coming in, because it is the 2 of Cups, which is usually centered on emotional bonds, unions coming together of 2 souls. So it could be that there is a new relationship coming in for this person, but they don't see the wider picture of what's happened. The 3 of Cups in front of him always reminds me of that 3 of Cups card, you know, the actual 3 of Cups card, which centres on unions, joy, coming together, celebration. So it's almost like this guy has lost his joy in this card. Okay, this card is about feeling a lot of sorrow, feeling a lot of sadness, feeling that you've lost something that you were kind of emotionally bonded to. And I feel that the advice is saying, you know, you need to try and turn a corner in January 2016, because being concentrated on loss kind of stops the universe from doing its job, and that's kind of teaching us lessons and helping us to move in a far more positive direction, and also helping the flow of energy to go around. I often find that when I'm blocked in the way that I feel, if I'm feeling really angry, if I'm feeling really kind of stagnant as a human being in terms of the direction I'm going in life, that type of thing, that everything seems to stop. It's only when I tend to let go and let the cards fall and let the universe just deal with the situation that things start to move again. So it's about the free flow of energy in January for you guys. And I feel that some of you guys have possibly come out of a relationship, or there's been some sorrow involving a relationship, and the universe is really asking you to try and kind of, if you can, focus on the wider picture and focus on that there are good things in front of you, but you're focused on the thing that you've just lost, or that you've lost some time ago, and you need to kind of try and remove yourself from that, or move into a more positive direction. I always come back to the advice card as I go through the reading, because I often think about more, as the reading develops, I often think about more messages that the universe has with the advice card. Now, your general energy for January 2016, Taurus, is the 9 of Wands and also the Queen of Cups. Now, what I noticed with the Queen of Cups, she's like the High Priestess. She's usually a Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer individual. She's off the water element. But more so, she's a very creative character. She's usually quite artistic. You know, she loves poetry, she loves drawing, she loves art. You usually find her in things like maybe a psychic, maybe a tarot reader, somebody who probably works within the arts, works within fashion, that type of thing. But she's also very spiritual as well, which is why she'd be affiliated with being probably a psychic or a tarot reader or someone that does healing. And I feel that two things really could be for your general energy, and that would tie in nicely with the Five of Cups, is healing. Healing oneself from the past. She doesn't look over at this guy on the Nine of Cups, which is your other energy for that month, January 2016. And the Nine of Wands, sorry, can be a card of several things really. One scenario that I think about with the Nine of Wands is it's being on your guard about something. So it's kind of a self-protection type of thing. It's kind of being alert, being vigilant. I often look at this card and I think in terms of being vigilant, it's almost like the Page of Swords, ready to strike at any moment. It's also a card of protecting one's own territory, because the Eight Wands behind this guy, it's almost like he's standing guard, he's standing watch over them. I feel that the Queen of Cups is a very intuitive character, so maybe you need to be intuitive about something. Maybe you need to kind of pay attention to any warning signs within the month of January with those two cards. But the Queen of Cups is not looking over at this Nine of Wands. So it could also be telling you in a way to let down your guard and not be so guarded about your life. Maybe you've been so hurt that you've put barriers up, and maybe those two general energies are telling you to let down your barriers in order to heal over a situation, okay? Because the Queen of Cups I'm seeing is focused on this kind of jewel in her hand. I don't know what you'd call that thing there that she's holding, but she's holding something in her hand and she's very focused on it. She also always looks very sad and very morose. But it's almost like she has protection with this little angel on the side of a chair that she's sitting on. So it's almost like it's saying you need to focus on healing instead of focusing on the fight, instead of focusing on, instead of looking at everything as I need to put my guard up, maybe you need to focus on healing instead. And this person here isn't focusing on healing. All they can think about is the hurt that they've endured. And it's interesting because the 8 cards that are showing up here for your event stroke situation potentially for some of you Taurians in the month of January 2016. The first card that we have is the Three of Wands. Now the Three of Wands, as I've always said with this card, it's most people would say that this is success. This is your ships coming in. This is finally stuff is arriving that you've been waiting on for a long time. But what I notice, I don't know whether it's because it's it looks like it might be the sun is going down or something on this card, but I don't see any blue in this card. So sometimes, for me, this card can mean longing. If you were to get it in a relationship reading where you were saying, you know, how does so-and-so feel about me, and this card showed up for them, it might infer that either they're looking out for new opportunities, or it could be that they're longing for something. So if you're far away from your loved one and you're asking, you know, how does he or she feel about me now, it could be that they're actually longing for you. And I do feel that there is a sense of longing within that card for some of you Taurus people in January. You're waiting for something to come back to you maybe, or you're waiting for something to come in. And I feel that I do feel that this is a love reading, potentially. But we do see movement here because we've got the Knight of Wands straight after. The Knight of Wands is always, he is your movement card. So if you asked a reader, you know, am I going to move home, and this card came out in your outcome position, that would infer that you were going to move, okay? Because the Knight of Wands usually represents movement in home, movement in career, movement in, you know, a particular area of your life. But I feel looking at these two cards here that this person is looking longingly out with the Three of Wands. And I feel that it's for love or it's for excitement, because remember the Wands really do indicate kind of excitement, passion, drive, motivation, ambition. It could even be that you're waiting for a message from a loved one who's far away, and suddenly you get a surprise because they just kind of contact you like that. Because the Knight of Wands rushes in very, very quickly. He's fired up to rush in. They call this the Knight. They call this Knight of Wands the person that likes to depart but never arrive. But I always find that when he's facing directly towards another card, like he's doing here, he's coming back from somewhere. So it could be for some of you guys that in this advice card stroke overall theme for the month, that somebody that you've lost, you're continuously focused on. It could be a failed relationship, for example, and you're continuously focused on that with that Five of Cups. And this could suggest that this person here is this person here. Because he is focused on Three Cups, and we do see 3 wands in this card, okay? So he's focused on joylessness. He's lost his joy, he's lost his happiness. Because that Three of Cups card on its own signifies happiness. Okay, real joy, real, you know, good times, just feeling really good and being amongst people. It can also signify reunions as well of friends. And I feel that when I look at this Five of Cups, it's almost like something fell apart. And it's really weird, I'm looking at this guy now and he seems to have grey hair. That is the oddest thing, I never noticed that, but my eyes are just drawn to this guy's hair. So it's almost like something has really aged him, or he's been focused on these 3 cups for a long, long time. So I get the feeling that some of you guys might have been feeling quite joyless or sad for maybe some time. Maybe you've been pining over someone for some time. And here we see you looking out, potentially longingly, waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for someone to come back. But the Three of Wands, as with all the threes, I say, or most of the threes, except for the Three of Cups really, Three of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, it's all about kind of having to wait for something, okay? This is the initial completion card, yes, but also what do you need to do in order to kind of get past that stage? It's the or get to that stage, sorry, I should say, because if you look at, for example, the card that represents the number 3 pip cards, it's the Empress. And the Empress is all to do with fertility, expansion, growth, abundance. But while she's waiting for the delivery of her child, which is the project, which is the new endeavour, you know, she's built everything up and now she's waiting for the manifestation of it. There does sometimes, in between the point of development, which this card can also represent, to birth, manifestation. So between development and the manifestation of that idea, there sometimes is the frustration and having to wait for it to kind of happen or be delivered. So I feel that maybe, and looking at this guy, he seems to have grey hair and he does seem to have been standing there probably a very long time. I feel that some of you guys have been longing, and maybe there's a sense of frustration with this card for some of you Taurus people, okay? You've been waiting a long time maybe for someone to come back. Now, if this Knight of Wands is the person that comes back, then I feel that he will have, yes, come back from the past, because we do have behind him the Six of Cups. And it's as if this person is charging out of the past. They're coming back. Now, potentially, it could be a situation, because we do have, as the next card after that Six of Cups, the Queen of Wands. And what I'm noticing is that we have a progression of the Queen of Wands. Now, let's start again. We've got a progression. Let's leave the Three of Wands out for a time. Now, actually, we'll include it. It's important, come to think about it. Let me see if I can show you these cards all together. As a progression for me, we would have... Let's see if I can hold these cards up to you. This guy on the Three of Wands, who is waiting longingly for something to come back or to come to him. Suddenly we have the Knight of Wands, who is impulsive enough to charge in, okay? He's come back from the past, which is the Six of Cups. But what does he leave behind in the past? He leaves the Queen of Wands. This woman's looking in another direction. She's not looking towards the past. She's looking away from the past. So I feel that with these 3 cards, let's put down the Three of Wands. These 2 characters, the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, are both looking away from the past. The past is in the middle, but both characters are, it's almost like they've given up on something. So for some of you guys, it could be that maybe a lover, someone that you were with, may have deserted you or may have got with somebody else, okay, which would be this Queen of Wands character here. For some reason it didn't work out potentially, because we have that Six of Cups in between the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and they're both facing in different directions as if they're leaving the past behind. The only common theme that they have between them now is that Six of Cups. Okay, sorry, so they're leaving the Six of Cups behind. So the only common central theme that they've got between them is the past. It can also mean potentially some of you guys may be waiting for someone who has children with someone else. And maybe they're both looking away from the past that involved their children, and they're looking in different directions now. It could also mean that maybe some of you are moving out of a childhood home or somewhere affiliated with parents or the past, because the Knight is the movement card. It could be a house move, so maybe with that Six of Cups, you're coming back from somewhere, or you're moving away from somewhere that's been very familiar to you. Okay? And maybe with that Three of Wands ahead, maybe you're looking to move somewhere more further afield, maybe even abroad. Both the Three of Wands and the Knight of Wands can be travel cards. So maybe there's some travel happening for you guys where you're moving away from a familiar environment. Okay? Now, that would explain as well the Five of Cups. Feeling a sense of loss because you're moving away from something quite familiar. But getting back to, you know, during my readings, I often give flecks of other scenarios that I think could be the case for some of you Taurus people in the month of January 2016. I do feel that some of you guys are longingly waiting for someone. This person could be coming back in because he is racing out of the Six of Cups. He's got his back turned to it. There's another woman, there's another individual, the Queen of Wands, and they've both, the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, both have their back turned to that Six of Cups, which suggests to me that potentially there could have been an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius woman maybe in the mix here. The Knight of Wands doesn't have to signify an Aries, Leo or Sagittarius. It can really signify someone who is kind of a love 'em and leave 'em, probably somebody who's not that trustworthy. Okay? But it looks like he's come back with his tail between his legs, potentially. If this doesn't signify someone coming back from your past, then this is somebody new potentially coming in January. You've been longing for a relationship. Maybe you've had something that didn't work out for you for the longest time, and you've still been focused on that. Now, for some of you Taurus people, I feel that if it's somebody from the past, it doesn't really matter whether it's somebody from the past or whether it's someone from the, you know, who's new in your life, it's definitely telling you that you need to let go of this. Because nothing can work. Okay? Nothing can work. If it's somebody coming back from your past who did you wrong, and you've had a hard time getting over this, then I feel that the advice is, remember this. Remember how they made you feel. This is what all I'm thinking here. I feel that if it's somebody that wasn't very good to you, if it's somebody who played you, if it's someone that messed you about, then you need to remember that. Okay? You need to remember it, because they'll probably do it again. If it's somebody new, then you need to let go of this. Now, if it's somebody new, then I feel that that person will have a past. Okay? Because he is racing out of that Six of Cups, and there's a woman behind that Six of Cups who's looking in another direction. So I feel that they will have a past, and they will have probably not long ago broken up with someone else. The final four cards, Taurus, do show that you're kind of in a mental block. There's a lot of blockage going on here with you and your feelings. So if it's someone from the past coming in, then I feel with the High Priestess and also the Eight of Swords, remember the High Priestess is a card about inner knowing. She's the woman who really kind of is able to clarify everything within herself. She doesn't say much, but what she does know is priceless. But she doesn't need to show it, she just knows. It's about higher consciousness, self-aware, being self-aware. However, it strikes me with this Eight of Swords that there is some sort of lockdown here, because whilst you know what the right thing is to do with that High Priestess, you're still confused because we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card about mental lockdown. It's a card about fear and being afraid to release yourself from the fear. Okay? So I feel that if it's somebody new that comes in, it's telling you you've got to release yourself from the fear. And that would easily show within the Five of Cups as well as your advice card. Okay? Maybe you're focusing far too much on what happened with that High Priestess card. There is the duality of emotions as well within this card in a way, because you've got her sitting between two pillars. I think it's Boaz and Joachim. So the black B, the B on the black pillar stands for, I think, Boaz, and the J, I think, stands for Joachim, and I think that means darkness to light. So there's a certain amount of clarity in there. You kind of know what to do, but you're not doing it with the Eight of Swords. You're not releasing yourself. You want to release yourself, but you're too afraid to. You'd much rather stay like this. But it won't serve any purpose for you, Taurus, to stay in the past, because this person does live in the past. The past is very much at the forefront of his mind. And I feel for some of you guys in January, the past will be very much at the forefront of your mind, but the universe is saying you've got to release it. You have to release it, because you'll do yourself no favours, especially if somebody new comes in and they're just what the doctor ordered for you. I'm not telling you to jump from one relationship to the other, but what I am saying is that if somebody should come along and you've been hurt in the past, don't allow that to deter you from stepping into someone or even getting to know someone who could be of benefit to you in the future. We do see as your final two cards the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. This Nine of Pentacles lady is you, because you're Taurus, you're Earth, and Pentacles are Earth. So I feel for some of you guys, it might be a case of that you had to rebuild your life, potentially. And you're in a place now where, you know, everything's on an even keel. You are still carrying the energies of that Five of Cups. But in terms of maybe your material life, maybe people that you have around you, maybe what you've managed to build up, you know, you're looking good. You're looking attractive, you're wearing nice clothes, you've got all of the outer life, but what you don't have is the love. And maybe for some of you guys, you put this up as a barrier to love. You think this is all you need, is what you've built up, but it's not. It's not. Because someone, it's clear here that the Knight of Cups is offering something to you. Somebody wants to offer you love. Okay? They want to offer it to you, but you're so concentrated on this. It could also be that if this person is somebody from the past, that your guard is up and you're not willing to release anything. Maybe you received mixed messages from this person, because we do have two knights in this reading. And two knights, as far as I'm concerned, when they're in the opposite direction. For example, we have the Knight of Cups here, and we've got the Knight of Wands. Now they're lying diagonally to each other, which shows two different energies, two different forces. The Knight of Wands wants to rush in. The Knight of Cups wants to take his time. He gallops slowly and daintily and dreamily. He's like the perfect Prince Charming. This guy is like your wham bam thank you man. So it could be with those cards lying in different opposite directions that you were receiving mixed messages from someone, and maybe that's why you're kind of confused and tied up in your head as to whether you want to kind of release yourself to them again. Maybe you're so focused on what they did within that Five of Cups. Maybe they went with someone else, this Queen of Wands, but now that's over because they're both looking in different directions. Maybe they've come back saying that they want to offer love, but you don't really trust that. But I do feel here, for your general energy, it's saying two things. The general energy, remember, is the Nine of Wands and the Queen of Cups. So it could be saying, as far as I'm concerned, don't focus on the fight. Don't focus on putting those barriers up so much, okay? Release the barriers, release the past. That's if somebody new comes into your life. If it's somebody that comes back into your life, though, and they're giving you mixed messages potentially, one hand they're saying, you know, I love you, I want to offer you love, you know, I want to be your romantic partner, but at the same time, they're coming and they're going from your life, and then they're not calling you for days or for weeks, and then they keep coming to and fro, so they're giving you mixed messages. Then this card says, rely on your intuition, these two, as far as I'm concerned. If you feel that you need to be guarded around this person, and as the Queen of Cups, your spiritual intuition, your common sense says to you, I don't really feel I should let this person back in, then you need to remember with that Five of Cups what that person did to you. And keep those barriers up against them, because they could do it again. So I feel that the reading is twofold for you this month, Taurus, for January 2016. On the one hand, if it's new love that's coming in, could potentially be that you've been waiting a long time for this, because we have the longing card in the Three of Wands. Remember, these boats, we don't know whether they're sailing or whether they're stationary. They look kind of stationary to me because I don't see any water. I don't see any blue here, but what I do see is land. So they look like they're harboured. They look like they're just sitting there. So it could be that you've been waiting for movement in something for a long time. And suddenly this Knight of Wands comes back in. If he's from the past, he comes straight out of the Six of Cups. And he's leaving somebody behind. Okay? Could be even with the Five of Cups, because this guy's focusing on 3 cups. Could have been a 3-way situation, a love triangle potentially, because the 3s can sometimes represent, a lot of the time actually, love triangles. And maybe somebody went off with someone else and now suddenly they'll come back with their tail between their legs, i.e. the Knight of Cups. You know, I'm no longer that man that I used to be, I'm this man now. But you've kind of built yourself up again, even though you're feeling the emotional loss of what happened. To me, this says, hold your guard up. Remember what he did on the 5th of September. Whatever, you know? Sorry, that's just a little rhyme that I thought of. But, yeah, in all seriousness, I feel that these cards are saying that you need to keep those barriers up, okay? Because he could do it again. No matter how much he comes back to you and says, I'm sorry, this, that, and the other. I feel the cards are saying, don't do it. However, if this is somebody new that comes in, if this is someone that rushes into your life, it's not the Knight of Wands, he's a representative of how quickly it could potentially happen after you've been waiting a long time within that Three of Wands. He may well have a past behind him. Could be children, could be a wife. The Queen of Wands, they could have split, might be sharing the children responsibilities, but he has a past. He or she, sorry, should I say, has a past. You might be conflicted as to whether you want to go for it. You know what you want to do. You're quite clear on it, but you're too worried to act on it with that Eight of Swords. But I feel that this person would probably be genuine, because we do have the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups can be a bit of a bugger as well, to be honest with you, but I feel he's a bit more genuine than that Knight of Wands. And he definitely wants to offer you love, because it's showing you guys here. So that's your reading, guys, okay, for the month of January. Okay, I do feel that there is something happening in terms of your personal life, in terms of a love situation. The past is very prominent, either for you or for this new person in their life, that's coming into your life, potentially. But more than anything, the reading is saying you either keep your barriers up if you don't trust the person, if they've messed you about in the past, or you let it down if this is someone new and someone who might be beneficial to you. Okay, thank you so much, Taurus, for using Carol's Universe, for coming to my channel and watching my videos, and I will be back with your yearly readings very soon. Take care, my lovelies. Bye-bye.